All right, come follow me. Here we go. Come follow me. This is sections 58 and 59 we're going to go over this week. So not a lot in the come follow me lessons for this one. It's kind of a short one, but it's just short and sweet. Basically, talking about the importance of blessings and they come according to God's timing. A little bit more about the night family, Polly Night and them. That was really good. Read that in the Saints as well. And keeping the Sabbath day holy. I think this is definitely a good lesson for our day and age, is this one. So in section 58 and 59 of the Doctrine and Covenants, I don't have a lot of notes on section 58 of the Doctrine and Covenants, but there's a couple of things that are really interesting about this. One is, this is the section where Joseph Smith got the revelation to encourage people to begin to gather to Zion. So people were coming into this location, a place of Zion in Jackson County, Missouri. So this is everybody pulling together. This is people coming from all over the country and even other countries coming in to gather to Zion. And a lot of the people came believing that all they had to do was get to Zion and their problems would be solved. Basically, I can get to Zion, I'll be safe, I'll be fine, I'll be with the saints, it'll be happy, everything will be good. And they showed up, and that is not what happened. So they had to build their houses, they had to deal with mobs, they had to deal with persecution, they still had problems and challenges. So I think this is a good idea to think about, because even the saints, when they came west, if you read volume 1 of Journal Discourses, Brigham Young had a good speech in there about how people came west and they thought, man, they would just show up and life would be awesome. Come out to the west, come out to the valleys of Salt Lake City and things, and life is good. You just have to show up and it's good. It's easy, this kind of almost like this idea of a get rich quick type thing. I just have to show up and it's all done for me and I just take a rest and I'm easy. And that's not what it is. The Lord expected these people to build Zion. It's the same when the saints came west. You're expected to build the cities up, build things up. So there's still work involved in building things up. Even when, we think of, there's an end result. We get to the end of a game and life is good now. That's not the case in real life. There's still challenges, there's still work, there's still things to be done to help us accomplish what the Lord has in store for us. So really interesting idea, kind of a good idea to even think about for us, is sometimes we think of our lives of, if I just had that one job, if I just had that one thing in my life, everything would be better. And then you get it, and it's not really that much better. So we still have to strive. We still have to work. We really need to work at not just finding the ideal place to live, but making the place we are the ideal place to live. Do things to influence and improve what's going on around us, rather than look for something outside of us that will improve us. So I think it's a good metaphor for us as well. Now, section 59 is another really good one. A little bit more about gathering with Zion and things, and they talk about Sabbath day and the importance of the Sabbath day. And I'm trying to remember, there was another one somewhere around section 30, I think. It's a couple months ago that they talked about the Sabbath day, and they mentioned it in one of those sections as well, about the importance of keeping the Sabbath day holy. This is important, to have a day that you do things different. And one of my favorite quotes around the Sabbath day is, I believe it was Spencer W. Kimball, that says, somebody asked him about what is appropriate on the Sabbath day. What should I be doing or not doing on the Sabbath day? And his answer to them was, when you are close to the Spirit, you will know what's right and what's not right for the Sabbath day, and you won't have to worry about it. So the thing about the Sabbath day is, it's not necessarily a series of rules. People want to break it down to just a series of rules. Define the line that I can't cross, kind of a deal. Here's the rules. Okay, you can do all of this, but you can't do any of this, and here's where the line is. And the reality is according to what the gospel says, is that's not the right way to do things. That is not the right way to do things. That we need to be sensitive to adjustments to what's going on in there because of our situation. Some people are required to work on Sundays. That's just the nature of some industries. I mean, let's face it, if all the cops took Sunday off, that would be a crazy day. Or if all the paramedics took Sunday off, don't get sick on Sunday because you can't get to the hospital. So that would be bad. If the doctors all took Sunday off, there's certain things. And so there's got to be a line. And this is so common in the Gospels. The Gospel isn't so hard and fixed. It has this adjustment. It says, here's where we got to go. But these are some of the exceptions or guidance to it to help us understand how do we apply this to humans, to people, and their situations in their life. I like how the gospel is structured that way. It's not just a series of rigid rules that, could cause problems. Because sometimes there are situations where you would have to drive or have to do things on the Sabbath. If you look back at the Jews, they had such strict laws around the Sabbath that you literally could only walk so many steps. Once you reached those steps, you just had to sit down and wait till Monday morning, and then you could get up and walk home the rest of the way. So that's just how it was. There's the popular story that a lot of people have heard of the family that they were pretty much put in jail because they had an egg that got away from the kind of fallen out and rolled over by the fire, and it happened to cook, and they went to jail because technically they cooked on Sunday, even though they didn't even know it was there and had no intention of it being there. They still went to jail because they technically broke the law. So the gospel actually has a bend to it that says, well, here's the guidance. Here's really the principle we want you to understand, but put it in this context of what's going on with these people in their life to help out. We shouldn't do work, but you know what? If somebody's moving and they got kicked out of their apartment and their landlord's like, you've got 24 hours before I basically sell all of your stuff, you're going to have to go on Sunday to do it. And that would be sad if they got kicked out. They were forced to move on a Sunday, and no one came to help them because they didn't think that was an appropriate thing to do. Helping somebody is completely appropriate to do, even on a Sunday. That's what it's about. So there's a give in the gospel. It's more about, here's the principle, now how do we apply it? So there's a lot of great stuff in there, and the Sabbath day is important. I do think that the average person does not take the Sabbath day serious. I think because the world looks at Sunday as the day to do the stuff that we don't want to do to interrupt our weekends. So we take Fridays and Saturdays to play, and then we do the things on Sunday that we didn't do on the weekends because we were playing. Whether that is yard work, whether that is just an extra day to do business, whether that's, hey, we're gonna play and then use Sunday as the day to drive home, or Sunday's our travel day because then we spend more time on vacation and then we kind of ruin our Sabbath day by traveling. I've traveled on Sundays. I've had business meetings to attend and things. And you know what, and this is just my perspective. You have to work out with the Spirit your perspective of what's right and what's wrong. I'm not saying who's right and who's wrong here. I've traveled on Sundays. I've had times where we've done that. We've been on vacation on Sundays. We just don't do anything on those days. Those are days to just sit around the apartment or the hotel room and take it easy. We go out to the pool, we just rest, we watch movies, play games, whatever. Then we go back to playing on Monday. So we go to church. We do our best to actually either have church, if we're renting a cabin or something, we'll have church there, or we'll go to church and to do that. And there's many times where I've had like a business trip, and it goes up like the final party is Saturday night. So we'll try to leave early from that, and then we'll get up at like 3 a.m. to catch a flight. We're back here, around home about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and we can go to church still. So we try to be accommodative instead of fitting our life around what's going on. We fit the Sabbath day around, so that it's an important thing to have. And this goes into some good ideas on that. I have 2 notes on verse 20 of section 59 that I want to share. Verse 20 says, and it pleaseth God that he hath given all these things unto man, talking about food and shelters and resources, basically, the earth and its resources. For unto this end were they made to be used with judgment, not to excess, neither by extortion. That's an important one. So Hugh Nibley, on that word extortion, if you read in the book Approaching Zion, page 193, He says, mention of processing olives and grapes brings up the word extortion. The literal meaning of the word is to squeeze the last drop out of a thing. And he references Deuteronomy 24:21 in there as well. So extortion is literally taking every squeeze, every ounce of everything out of it. Or extortion, I say, not distortion, extortion. So that's interesting that, maybe we shouldn't be trying to squeeze total value out of everything. We shouldn't be trying to go for the last dollar on a transaction. It's okay if we don't make all the money in a transaction. It's okay if other people get a good deal on it or things like that. We don't need to push it too much. There's another quote I have in here as well from Brigham Young. It's actually volume 1, also page 78 of the Journal of Discourses. He says, if I have any knowledge touching the condition of this people at the present time, and the way they are taught, led, counseled, and dictated by those who go before them to open up the way, it is directly opposite of that we saw in the days of Joseph the prophet. Now, this is after the saints have moved west. They've established Salt Lake City. The city is starting to thrive and grow and do really well. He says here, Prophet Joseph was full of sorrow, trouble, poverty, and distress. But now the people are led into riches by the example, counsel, advice, and dictation of their leaders. They are on the highway to wealth, and there is danger in it. There are men that never knew enough of the principles of economy to gather substance or save anything to themselves, until within a few years back. But now they are becoming rich in a moderate point of view. We do not expect to become wealthy like the Rothschilds or some other large capitalists of Europe. This people are gathering much substance around them, which is a principle of heaven, a principle of Zion, but there is a fear within us lest it cause us to forget our God and our religion. Whether we have much or little, let it be on the altar, for it is all the Lord's, whether this people know it or not. Joseph Smith said to this people that all the wisdom he had was received from the hand of the Lord. All of the knowledge, wisdom, economy, and every business transaction pertaining to human life in connection with the spiritual kingdom of God on the earth is given unto us as individuals or as a community from the liberal hand of God. Do you realize this? Or will some of you say, it is my own wisdom and economy that have accomplished this or that? If you do, beware, lest the Lord withdraw the light of his Spirit from you, that you be left in darkness. Matthew 6:23. And your former judgment, wisdom, and discretion be taken from you. If we receive good, it is of the Lord. Then let us serve him, and love him with a true heart. As to the world, they may do as they please, for we care not for it anyhow. Let this people cleave unto the Lord and righteous principles, and all is right and well. So something that's, I think, very relevant to our day and age, with so much wealth, so much opportunity to gain wealth, to do things, that all the early saints, if they could see us today, they would just think we're a bunch of fat, lazy, rich people, and which we kind of probably are, really, compared to their life. But he says, it's not bad to be wealthy, but it's what do you do with it? How do you treat it? Do you rely on it? Do you love that wealth more than humans? Like we talked about a couple weeks ago with the whole thing of law of consecration. It's not about the stuff. It's about helping people. And Brigham Young even says, lay all of your wealth on the altar. Be prepared to sacrifice all of it at any moment the Lord asks you to. That's an important principle, because if you are, then you're not going to hold it so dear and require it so much. We have a tendency to live our lives based upon how much money we have. I know for me as an entrepreneur, I don't make a ton of money with my business, and oftentimes I get judged by people because I don't make much. They think that because I'm not making much, I must not be that good of an entrepreneur. And I'm like, guys, that's not true. That is absolutely not true. So wealth should never be a measuring stick. It should never be a tool for judgment or evaluation, and it should not be the primary reason we do things. So there's a lot of wisdom in that, especially for our day and age, that I don't think it's appreciated enough by especially members of the church to realize there is going to come a day with all the last days calamities and everything where it'll all be given up. You'll have to sacrifice all of your worldly stuff anyways. Most likely you will have to do that at some point. So why not start now realizing that it's only good for the good it can do? So let's keep things running. Let's keep things moving. Instead of parking money and hoarding it and storing it, let's do things to help promote good. Let's use it and put it to good use. Those are some very important principles.